I knew something was wrong the moment my name wasn't called. 33 people filled my mother's dining room that Sunday evening, and yet somehow, I felt invisible, like a chair pulled back from the table, left empty on purpose. The house smelled like roasted chicken and buttered rolls, the way it always did when Mom wanted to impress. Voices overlapped, laughter bounced off the walls, forks clinked against china she only used on holidays. I stood near the doorway with my purse still on my shoulder, watching cousins hug cousins, aunts kiss cheeks, uncles slap backs. Everyone seemed to know exactly where they belonged. Everyone but me. My mother moved through the room like a conductor, directing people to seats, refilling glasses, smiling wide and practiced. When her eyes passed over me, they didn't linger. They slid right by, as if I were a stranger who'd wandered in by mistake. I told myself not to read into it. I told myself I was tired. I told myself families were messy and feelings got bruised for no reason sometimes. But deep down, a quiet ache had already started to bloom in my chest, slow and heavy. Because this wasn't just a dinner. This was a message. Before all of this, my life was simple in a way that felt earned. I wasn't rich. I wasn't glamorous. But I was steady. I worked as a school administrative assistant. Early mornings, long hallways that smelled like pencil shavings and floor cleaner, children's voices echoing through open doors. I liked being useful. I liked knowing where I fit. I lived alone in a small townhouse 10 minutes from my mother's place. 2 bedrooms, beige carpet, a little back patio where I grew basil and tomatoes in the summer. I'd been divorced for 8 years. No dramatic scandal, just 2 people who grew quiet around each other and decided not to pretend anymore. No kids. That part still ached some days, especially when I folded tiny sweaters for donation drives at school. My mother, Eleanor, lived in the same house she'd raised us in. White siding, creaky front steps, a porch swing that squeaked in rhythm with her rocking. She was 72 and proud of still, hosting like a proper woman, as she liked to say. Family was her currency. Gatherings were her stage. I was the eldest of 3, the responsible one, the one who showed up early, stayed late, washed dishes without being asked. Growing up, I'd been called the little adult. I wore that title like a badge for years, until I realized adulthood wasn't something you earned. It was something people expected from you, without thanking you for it. My younger sister, Marlene, was the opposite. Loud. Emotional. Always in some kind of trouble or triumph. She lived 2 states away, but somehow remained the center of every family conversation. My brother, Thomas, lived closer, had kids, a busy life, 1,000 excuses. He was forgiven for all of them. I never minded my role. Or at least I told myself I didn't. I believed love was shown through consistency. Through being there. Through small acts no one noticed until they stopped happening. And for a long time, that was enough. The dinner invitation came as a group text. Family Sunday dinner at my place. Everyone's coming. For PM, don't be late.
Mom, no greeting.
No heart emoji. Just instructions. 33 relatives, it turned out, included second cousins I barely knew, a great-aunt who criticized everyone's posture, and Marlene's new boyfriend, whose name I couldn't remember, but whose opinions filled the room like smoke. I arrived 10 minutes early, as usual. Brought a lemon cake I'd baked the night before. Mom took it from my hands without comment and set it on the counter behind other desserts, store-bought pies, someone's brownies, a tray of pastel cupcakes with someone else's name written in icing. You can put your coat in the back, she said, already turning away.
No hug.
No, I'm glad you're here. I stood there for a moment, holding the empty space where warmth should have been. As people arrived, I watched patterns form. Seats were assigned, whether spoken or not. Couples paired. Families clustered. I ended up on the far end of the table, next to a cousin's teenage son who spent the whole meal staring at his phone. When the conversation turned to memories, no one asked me for mine. When Mom made her toast, she thanked everyone for coming. She praised Marlene's strength, Thomas's dedication as a father. She talked about how blessed she felt, how proud she was of this family. Her eyes never met mine. The lemon cake was served last. A sliver, nearly an afterthought. Someone commented it was nice, then asked where it was from. I made it, I said softly. Oh, they replied, already reaching for coffee. I smiled. I always smiled, but inside something was starting to crack. That night, lying in bed, I replayed the evening in fragments. The sound of laughter that didn't include me. The way my mother's hand had rested on Marlene's shoulder. The careful way she'd avoided my gaze. It would have been easier if someone had been cruel outright. If there'd been an argument, a harsh word, a clear line drawn. But this was something quieter. Colder. This was exclusion dressed up as normalcy. I wondered how long it had been happening. How many small moments I'd dismissed. How many times I'd told myself not to be sensitive, not to be dramatic, not to take things personally. The truth hovered just out of reach, like a thought I was afraid to finish. Because if my own mother had decided I didn't belong at her table, then where did that leave me? I stared at the ceiling until the ticking clock on my nightstand felt unbearably loud. And somewhere between one breath and the next, I realized this dinner wasn't the beginning. It was the confirmation.